You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
So the last element of friendship in Proverbs 27 that I want to explore for a few moments is this idea of challenge. Iron sharpening iron, or faithful are the wounds of a friend, which again could speak to candor, but iron sharpening iron pushes to something even more, and that is a willingness to challenge. And in a sense, we see this all through this proverb. Verse 1 says, "Don't boast about tomorrow, what you'll do and what the day may bring. Let another praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips." So he starts off, in a sense, modeling what iron sharpening iron is. He says, be careful that you don't make too much of yourself. Let other people praise you. Verse 4, "Wrath is cruel, anger is overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy?" Check your own heart that you're not jealous. Don't invite jealous people into your life. Then verse 5 and 6 talk about this rebuke and flattery. Verse 8 is an important verse because it says this. It says, "Like a bird strays from its nest is a man who strays from his home." Birds that stray from a nest are unsettled. They're isolated. They're vulnerable. And this is his rebuke or challenge to the people who are listening, reading his words, and he's saying, be careful when you stray from home because these are the negative elements that come into your life. Verse 12, he talks about prudent. The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Then the comment about too early in the morning, continual dripping, iron sharpens iron, verse 17. Then he again talks about tending to a fig tree, which is just saying take care of your stuff. Whoever tends a fig tree will eat its fruit. Sometimes you have to work out of season in order to experience the fruit in season. And he ends with a reflection again on the counsel, as water in the face reflects, and so does counsel. And then he goes down. He says, riches do not last forever, and it does a crown endure to all generations. Know that whatever it is that you're doing and building, that's not ultimate. And in a sense, what he's doing here is he's just modeling this idea of challenge. And so the question here is really, of the friendships that you have, are you challenging just in general with your exhortation, with your challenges, the modeling that you do? And are you willing to speak specifically into areas of friends' lives where you see them headed down a wrong path or an unhealthy path for them? Because you could make a case that if you don't do that, there's a good chance that you're not actually a friend, because a friend sharpens another friend. So do you invite that kind of feedback? Well, one of the reasons that we don't maybe get that feedback is we don't invite it. We often don't want people to speak into our lives. So rather than saying, I'm thinking about and sharing our idea with our friends, what we do is we make a decision and then we look for validation. It was Parker Palmer years ago who wrote a little book, Let Your Life Speak, and he talked about in Big Decisions how he learned something from the Quakers, which they called the Clearness Committee. And what they would do is they would get together when somebody had a big decision and they would share the decision, and people would then just simply ask questions. And so it wasn't that they necessarily gave advice, but by their questions, they would continually probe until somebody said, oh, I kind of see it. And one of the stories he tells in this is he tells about when he was invited to be a president of a university. And so he got with a clearness committee and he kept talking about what he didn't want to do about the job. And they kept querying what he didn't want to do and then what he wanted to do. And finally, in a moment of clarity from the Clarity Committee, Parker Palmer said, I guess what I really like about being the president is I'd get my picture in the newspaper. And somebody, true to the form of the Clearness Committee, just simply asked the question, do you think maybe there's an easier way to get your name in the paper than to become president? And his point was he was uniquely gifted to be a professor, and in an invitation to be a president, he would have, just for the esteem of thinking he was president, given up what he actually loved, what he was actually good at. And it was by his Clearness Committee, vulnerability, iron sharpening iron, that he was able to see his way clear. So are you willing to invite iron to sharpen you? And are you willing to speak clearly to other friends? That's a hallmark of friendship. Iron sharpening iron. So friendship is important. It's something worth investing in. It's something worth striving to do as well as you can, because friends impact the quality of our lives.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.